Welcome back to another episode on The Gold Room. Today I am sitting down with Justin Virgin from Terrain Minerals. Mate, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Josh. It's
Not
good
a
to be
problem.
here.
Awesome, mate. We always start with the life and the times, mate. So who is Justin Virgin?
I guess I'm just a family guy, 3 kids, going to school here in Perth, just doing the usual dad stuff. That's probably who I am. But I grew up in Northam, about 100 k's from Perth, farming, sort of quarrying background. So parents, I grew up around crushers and blowing rocks up and drilling and that sort of stuff. And grandfather used to do a lot of prospecting. Did a trade. I'm an auto electrician, qualified.
Awesome, mate. Another Sparky.
Yep. Went to the mining industry for many years, run my own business, ended up going back to university.
Wow.
Doing marketing and an MBA.
Cool. How old were you when you did that?
Mid-30s or early 30s.
Nice.
So, yeah, a bit of a changeover.
Yep.
Sitting up at the Granites gold mine, actually, and after having stinking hot showers through the cold tap, I thought, what am I doing here?
Yeah. We've all had those moments, mate.
So I went back to university and did some stockbroking for a fair few years here in Perth and got a few directorships and very passionate about trying to make a discovery, and that's where we are right now with Terrain Minerals.
Yeah, beautiful. Tell me a bit more about your time as an auto Sparky.
Did my apprenticeship in Northam, did 4 years plus an extra year.
Yep.
I went to the mining industry at Marvel Loch for Eltons and Wildflower
Yep.
in gold mines. That was my baptism of fire back in the pre-safety days.
So pre-safety, you were wearing shorts.
It was a bit like that. It was, I can remember when they first came out and wanted us to wear earplugs and we should, have safety glasses on us.
All the time.
All the time. I mean, I was like, why would you do that? There's probably a lot of other things I probably won't say on a podcast, but OH&S was a
it wouldn't have been a thing.
new frontier.
Yeah.
Then went up to Pilbara, worked up there for a few years.
Cool iron ore.
Yeah, in Yarrick iron ore mine.
Awesome.
Did a lot of field service for Komatsu around the Pilbara and also out of Kalgoorlie, did a bit of field service there. So on the road in the back of Ute. And then I worked for myself for a few years doing the same thing, basically across WA and the Northern Territory.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies just using me to fly me in, fly me out for Pacific jobs because I knew what I was doing.
Awesome. It's always good to have someone who knows what they're doing on a mine site, mate. Absolutely. Few and far between on some of the sites I've been at.
Yeah.
So then 35 years old, decided to head back to school.
Pretty much. I travelled around the world for 3 years.
So nice. Where'd you go?
Everywhere.
Yeah?
North, South America, all over Europe.
Awesome.
Working, skiing. So I was fortunate, and that's what mining did.
Yep, that's right.
Did for me. I was able to afford that,
Did you have your partner at the time?
No, single.
Yeah, okay.
So
living the dream.
pretty much. So I had a great time. So
wicked.
I can't complain. It was all 6 on 1 when I was working, so 6 weeks on, 1 week off.
Mate, those are some crazy rosters, right?
Oh, and it's great for the industry. We've changed a bit because I think, the social issues that we had in the industry because of that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So it's all for the positive.
Yeah, for sure. An 8 and 6 or a 2 and 2 is a ripper roster.
That's a dream. It's
near on a holiday every break, right?
Yeah, I can remember being in the wet messes and people doing 2 on 1 and that, and people go, "Oh, it's so hard. I've been here for a week." I'm going, "Mate, you've got no idea."
I know. I like listening to some of the old heads tell the stories of the 4 and 1 and the 6 and 1 construction roster. I just think, shit, that's crazy.
My first job at Marvel Loch, I asked my first week off after 6 weeks, and Foot, who was the old maintenance supervisor, got on the phone and swore and abused at HR. Who in the hell told these idiots they can have a week off? We don't want weak people on site.
Yeah, HR's changed, eh?
Because it was all 13 on 1.
Yeah.
And it was just trans to 6 on 1. So,
wow.
The industry's come a long way.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. What year was that? Oh, shit. Might get some people like, oh, he's now this old.
It was 91.
Oh, yeah, okay. You remember the gold price?
No, but it was actually reasonably buoyant at the time. And I think like the mid-90s it got a bit tight.
Yep.
Around the 400s, I think. And they started shutting mines down.
Far cry from today, mate.
Yeah, that's come a long way. But, costs are going up as well.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. The mining companies are complaining about cost. But, there's ways of bringing it down, ways of bringing those costs down.
Yep, I think we've got a pretty good industry, so.
Yeah, for sure. So 35 years old, back to school, doing an MBA, university.
Yep.
What university did you go to?
Edith Cowan.
Okay.
So did marketing and then an MBA, rolled it through.
Yep.
Worked here in Perth, put myself through uni. And yeah, off I went into stockbroking and directorships.
Did you enjoy the stockbroking?
Yeah, no, it was great fun. It was a bit of a learning curve for someone who's come from the tools.
Yep.
As you know, as an electrician, it's a bit different, and in an office environment, not being out in the paddock.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was good. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good path, and I grew up in a mining sort of situation, and I'm still in a mining situation. So
yeah, beautiful,
and that's what I love. So
yeah, look, that's what I hear all the time from people we speak to is they're really passionate about what they're doing, and that's the whole point of this: get people on the show to talk about who they are and their passion projects. So thanks very much, mate.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Terrain's strategy for the future. Where are you at now?
We're an exploration company. We actually go out there, we find good opportunities, we do the work, and at some point you either need to drop them or you carry on.
Yep.
So we've spent a few. Look, the company was run as a bit of a shell, I guess, for a while, looking for a great opportunity and always do a bit of drilling.
Yep.
And the last few years we've cranked it around. We've identified some great stuff, and we're drilling them out now. So we're drilling the last couple of weeks. So there's results now in the lab.
Awesome.
On our gold. So,
how do you find that you personally balance your role and the roles of the people working with you, the drilling companies, on a day-to-day?
Well, as an explorer, we're very segmented. We do program by program. So it's a big lead up and then the program goes off. So we sort of little blocks, I guess, little increments along the way. So it's pretty easy. We, as a small company, we had a full-time geologist who's really good. And there's myself, and then my board supports me. But predominantly there's just two of us doing it all.
Yep.
And we're using contractors. So.
Yeah, beautiful. Who's the drilling company you're using, mate?
At the moment, we're using Challenge out of Kalgoorlie. But we've got a couple of different groups that we use from time to time.
Yeah, okay. You've got a few irons in the fire. Do we want to go into a couple of them?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, this is the exciting part.
This is exactly right. That's why we're here.
Yep. Our Smokebush Project up sort of south of Golden Grove and north of Capricorn's Mount Gibson, which are both VMS. Golden Grove started as a gold mine before it sort of come into a multi-element sort of mine. So a lot of people don't know that or remember that.
Yep.
Our Smokebush Project's got two parts of it. We've been here 4 or 5 years trying to nut this one out. And it's just perseverance, and we do persevere.
Yep.
So
what have you been persevering with? What are some of the difficulties that you've faced?
I can't see into the ground and see what's there.
For sure. But I mean, is it a cost? Is it costs? Have you not had the finance to be able to
we've struggled
put the drill rods down?
We've struggled with finance. We've put some good results out, but other companies have been putting better results out.
Yep.
It's just the nature of exploration.
Yeah, for sure.
So we probably haven't had the response we would have liked from the market. Like at Monza, we've got 700 metres of mineralisation and some reasonable grades there.
What are the grades?
Well, I picked the project up and did a deal, and now we've got 100% of it. But I followed up 2 metres at 9 and 2 metres at 11.
Wow.
So, and they're the only 2 holes into it. We don't know why they drilled in that orientation. We just followed them. I don't know if we're on the right orientation. Yep. We've then done some drilling. We've extended that to 700 metres now. Knew, looking at the drill chips, that there's something else going on. We're probably in the wrong place. So
That's honesty.
Yeah.
That's great. You've got to be.
And it's just, you've got a problem. You know there's some gold around, but just where is it?
Yep.
So we had to persevere. So, and we're doing other projects, and we've got to balance keeping the market interested and being able to raise capital.
Yep.
And it's hard in the junior end. The market's sometimes doors open, sometimes it's closed. And unfortunately, that's just life. So we've kept on with it. We've tried some different techniques. We've had a few different geologists at the project. Our new geo, Ben, who's with us like 2 years now, he's done IP. And bang, right next to Monza, there's a thing we call lightning. We've put 3 holes into it. Every hole's getting 2 or 3 metres at 6 grams. And the last hole we put in, we got 11 metres at 6 grams.
Man, that's bloody super high grade at the moment.
And 43.5 grams silver.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
In this nice big IP anomaly that sits next to Monza, which is explain what we're seeing in Monza. Now, so it's high sulfides. That's what the IP is picking up.
Yep.
And we've now gone doing 17 holes for 3,500 metres. We've just finished. So those results are pending. And potentially, as we put more data into the IP model, it opens up the area. And there's a couple of more structures sort of potentially appearing. So we've tested them as well. Yeah. So I think we're on the way to discovery.
Beautiful. What would you say makes terrain different from other juniors out there? Because as you know, there's every man and his dog's out there at the moment, you know, asking for cash. What do you think separates terrain from everyone else?
There's a lot of good operators out there who are doing the right thing.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys, you know, heaven forbid, go out for lunch a lot. And look, everyone to their own. Yep. We just want to get on to rural exploration. We've got a little office. It's nothing fancy. We're all it was only me and Ben. We squashed in there. It's too small. We do everything ourselves. We allocate funds to exploration, and I guess we persevere. You know, we've been 4 or 5 years at Smokebush. We've just got on with it. We know there's something there. We just haven't figured it out. Yep. And now that we've done the work, there's a few other areas that we couldn't figure out are now becoming a lot more clearer. We're doing an IP survey down over Wildflower Area, which is down to the south in the same project. That's looking very much like a Rothsay. Which is 10 k's away. These northwest structures, very early stage air core and some RC. We don't know what's going on, but it's looking like an early stage Rothsay. So it's...
Would you look at, would you say that something that Terrain Minerals would be doing or interested in is finding out all of these drill results and then selling off these tenements to another producer in the area, let's say Vault Minerals, who's at Deflector and Rothsay?
Take me out for as much as you like. Show me the cash.
Yeah.
Look, I guess, you know, going back to your original question, we just get on with the work. We do have some other projects that we are working on as well, like our Queensland project. It's taken 2 years to get it granted. So we like to find quality that we know and then make it happen. So that's our strength. We're not out there trying to do deals and trying to get the market excited by, you know, froth and bubbles. Yep. We want to make a discovery and add some value. So, and as part of that, if we do get some really good results, I think we're walking into, and there's a potential for, our area is south of Warrada. I think we're in different geology to them.
Yep.
But a lot of the pits in the area are, 150, 200,000 ounces, and they keep plunging down. So we've got a nice handful of targets that we could have a nice little high-grade camp here. We could really add some decent ounces because we've got some decent grades. There's the Kirkalocka Mill, about 120 k's up the road. They're trying to turn that back on.
Beautiful.
So there's a route.
Who owns that?
Oh, I don't know. I spoke to the boys at, I'm going to get it wrong, SMS Mining, I think.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to get it up and running.
Oh, nice.
So
they're a big operator out there now.
So that's a great opportunity for us if they need some dirt, and I think they do. There are some other players there. If we get on discovery, maybe they do take us out. I don't know.
Yep.
But the opportunity for us is to get there and drill as quick as possible to add as much value. But we'd love to be a producer. That's where we'd like to be. Awesome. Standalone operation.
Yep. Let's talk investors. What's your process of approaching investors? Because that's what you need. You need capital investment.
And that's, funding the business is always a challenge. Look, we do a lot of retail, do conferences. We do some one-to-one conferences as well.
Have you been heading over to the exploration conference? There was one in a few months
Sydney.
ago now. There was just one recently in Sydney. Yeah, I think the next one in Brisbane.
I think there is one in the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
There's a Noosa one as well. But we did RIU in Sydney, which is really good for us.
Yep. What about the one here down in Fremantle?
Yeah, that was crazy this year.
Yeah, it was so busy. I was there. It was hectic.
We're right.
It was the first time for me. It was the first time for me, and I was just like, "Wow, this is awesome."
I've never seen it like this year.
Yeah, there's so many people. I think Jonathan Fisher said it's bloody pumping.
It was. Yeah. I normally try and follow up with everyone I speak to, and at the end of it, I just sat there and went, "Well, I don't even know what I said."
Yeah,
I didn't get a spare minute the whole time. It was great. It was a really good event. Jackson and the boys do a pretty good job there.
So, do you think it's valuable attending these conferences as a junior?
I think we have to. I think in the broking space, they want people who are a lot more advanced, a lot of brokers won't buy into the stock. We won't go why, but we can all imagine. We need to find people who want to come along for the journey, and we've been very fortunate. We've got a very stable register. We've got guys who've come on, and I've always tried to approach people who understand that this is a journey, that this project may not work, but it may be the next one.
So are you looking at like mum and dad investors?
There is a lot of mum and dad investors, but we had a lot of like super funds. We've got a lot of high net wealth guys, but the ones who understand mining.
Yep, that's right.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We want to get that lucky one where they get the magical drill holes and we all make 50 times our money next week. But the reality is it takes time.
Some Meeka Metals type drill results.
Well, Meeka's doing very well. I'm a shareholder of Meeka.
Nice, good work.
Been there for a long time. When I was a broker, I'd raised some capital for them.
Yeah, Tim Davidson's a bloody legend.
Yeah, before Tim and Chris and the guys took over or came into the shell. So, and I've just held my stock because I've got a good story.
Yeah.
And hats off to him. Tim's, nose down and into it.
He's a hard worker, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
he's a tough taskmaster.
Yeah. Well, Tim, I know Tim personally and his brother Chris.
Yep.
Good guys. They've got a good board. They're very focused. They've got a great asset. That thing is just going to get better and better, in my view.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't sell it. I hope he keeps it because I think his knowledge and the gold that they've got there.
What I like about it, and the reason I've been there for 7 or 8 years as an investor, I've been there a long time, is Turnberry and St Anne's. That's a big, giant, long strike that's got a lot of gold on it that hasn't been followed up and drilled properly. And these things, it hasn't come down the rain. It's come from underneath. So I think I've been mining there for years and years, and that's why it's so attractive to someone else in the area. My personal view. Yeah. Whether they get taken out, I don't know. Yeah. But, I think there's something special there. Yeah. And that's what we want to beat, duplicate, drill it out, get into production. That's where you're going to add the value for your shareholders. And that's the sort of people we're trying to find. People know it is a journey. You're allocating some capital. You may need to allocate some more capital to protect your investment. Fortunately being in Western Australia, we have a lot of people who understand that, and that's what's kept us going.
Yeah. Mate, exploration's not just rocks and rigs, right? Nope. So how do you and Terrain Minerals go about sitting down with landholders?
Look, we try and speak to everyone and keep them informed. Look, I'm a country boy myself. I grew up on a farm. Yep. Communication. You need to talk to people. If you don't, they can be a bit grumpy. But if you talk to them, they're great people. So it's just communication.
Have you had any standout moments or any moments where things haven't gone your way?
Yeah and no. Look, I was talking to some people in Queensland because we've got that Wildflower Project up there that's taken 2 years, and it's a cracker of a project. Ben, our geologist, has had it for 15 years in 2 other companies. Wow. And we've now got it because the directional change in other companies. Anyway, so I'm talking to some landowners up there, and I said, g'day, Justin from Terrain Minerals. We've pegged the land that's been granted. Would like to access your land. And then I cop it. And, mining companies are horrible, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of it, we've got to talk about politics, which we shouldn't talk about.
No, we don't talk about it here.
But we're of the same view. Yeah. And at the end of it, we're best of mates.
Yeah, cool. So crack a few cans?
No, it was all on the phone.
Okay.
But we went from pretty toxic and angry to being best of mates.
Yeah, cool.
And it's just...
It's a good turnaround. It's a communication. It's a good turnaround story, for sure.
And that's what it's about. So if you need to go and talk to someone or pick the phone up and just constant contact, this is what we're doing. And even with our suppliers, everyone, you just need to keep everyone informed. We all have our moments. Yeah. And it's just need to communicate.
Yeah. Mate, you've just drilled off the back of Smokebush. You've got some pretty bloody exciting results, haven't you?
Oh, we're very excited. Following up what we've been following up, and so the IP loves data, and the more data we put in, the better it gets. Yep. I suspect we'll be drilling for the next 12 months there easily, and also down at Wildflower after the IP, and we're doing IP so we can target a bit smarter. But we know we've got targets there. Yep. But Lightning and Monza is looking like the real deal. And we're 10 k's from Rothsay, and also close to Warradar. So there's haul roads to mills.
Yep.
Close by. We're in a great location. It's exciting. Our drill results. Got to be careful what I say, but we're drilling into known stuff.
Yep.
So we're testing down dip. We're testing a bit further into other structures. We're testing under and over and around. You look at the Meeka story. They drill under the known, and there it is, because gold's typically come up.
Yep.
So it's exciting times for Train. It's taken time to get here, and it's been a struggle. But this program, I believe, is going to be one that really opens it up and is going to be the one that hopefully sets us apart.
So off that, Larin's Lane, the critical minerals story.
Yeah, Larin's Lane is about 5 k's. It's still part of Smokebush, so it's on the eastern side of Smokebush.
Yep.
So I think gallium is a pretty typical or topical subject at the moment, because what's going on with China, and they control 98% of the market, as well as multiple other specialty metals. So our Larin's Lane, look, everyone's got their own gallium project at the moment. A lot of people just pouring through old data.
Yep.
We've actually gone out and done 102 holes. Usual story, we're looking for something else. Yep. Looking for some polymetallics, because Golden Grove, and because there's VMS in the area, so we're in a VMS district. So we're looking for some base metals. We've, over 3 areas, we've got gallium, we've got a JORC exploration target over that area, but it sits on 27 square k's.
Wow.
This is huge. This has real scale. Yep. So it's not someone who's got a little hard rock. This is from surface in a lot of areas in a regolith, so it's sand and clay. There's 2 granites have pinched up, so you get like a valley, not a very high one, but 5-10 metres on each side. You can actually see there's a channel. It's a drainage channel where water washes down into a river. So that's why it's a regolith.
Yep.
And we've got some really nice gallium. It's up to 54 grams.
Wow.
And because of that, we've become a part of the government study, the MIWA, and the WA government's been great, because they've identified that we've got a lot of rare earths. We just need to unlock it. So
awesome. So government grants, are they throwing money your way?
no, they're not.
Why not? Why not?
Good question. But we are a part of a Met study. So at Larin's Lane, we know we've got something there big. We've got 10 of the holes are outside of our JORC
The government's
targets.
usually pretty good at getting them behind juniors, though, aren't they?
Oh, look, there are programs to help us. There's some, if you're doing core drilling, you can put in for funding, and they typically pay half, as long as it's
Viable.
experimental.
Okay.
I guess. And it's a good program, because it gets a lot of diamond, and that diamond core then goes into the core library for everyone to use. So
Is that something you'd look at?
we have done that in the past for our diamonds. We've had some part funding, and now our diamond core is sitting in the Kalgoorlie library. Yep. We can access it. Obviously, you can take a quarter of it for sampling. But, it's good. So the MIWA study is funded by the government, so they're putting a lot in. Curtin University is running an RSC. They put in for a grant, and there's a few companies. There's not many companies in it, actually. We did phase 1, and not many companies came through to stage 2. They all pulled out. So we've stayed there. The government's been really good. They've allowed us to switch to gallium as our main focus. But in the sweep, they're checking for everything. So assuming we're an oxide material, I think we're going to get reasonable recoveries. That's fingers crossed. Yep. And it's probably Christmas, we'll find out. But we're looking at detergents that aren't new, but just being repurposed, about as strong as a cup of coffee on the acid table. So 7 or 8 in the table.
Wow.
Orange juice. Now, if it comes out, that's exciting, but we'll end up with an end product that has other metals in it. So the goal would be let's see where this study takes us. We think we're going to be positive. I think we've got a big potential, large-scale opportunity and as a gallium-only producer, we can build something to suit a client.
Yep.
Where at the moment, stuff that comes out of bauxite is maybe 10-15% recovery, and 1 week they have gallium, next week they don't.
Yeah, that's not great, is it?
No, so we can tailor something to an end user. So it's a great opportunity for us. So when we basically get the Met results on the assumption it's positive, we're then going to do a little bit more drilling, make a few kilos of end product, see if we can market it, then we'll go back, drill this thing out. $1 million, we can air core the whole 27 square Ks out. I suspect it's going to get a bit bigger, and go back and tackle the high-grade areas and hopefully build a mine.
Mate, that's the goal. That's the goal of a junior.
100%.
So, last question from me, Justin, is give me a rundown of the next 12 to 18 months, because I'd like to get you back in 12 months' time, and we can talk about the goals that you've absolutely smashed out of the park.
Yep.
But what does the next 12 to 18 months look like, do you think?
You might want me back a bit earlier. Let's see what the results are.
Beautiful.
So, look, I guess we've got 2 stories we're running at the moment. I suspect we'll get our results back. We're going to do the IP over Wildflower, and we're probably going to go straight back and do more drilling at Lightning and Monza. So a lot of drilling. So we're doing a capital raising at the moment we're raising with existing shareholders, and that's an important part of having people who know mining. And we're doing a rights issue at the moment, which closed on the 17th of June. Those funds are going straight back into drilling.
Awesome.
So the next 12 months is just drill, and it's probably gold, and gallium. Christmas we'll have the gallium results back, so we'll see what happens at that point. So into the new year, it's going to be that gallium critical minerals, as well as our gold. And we're also got a copper gold project in Queensland, Billawheeler, which I mentioned. We should be on the ground 4th quarter this year there. And we've got 7 walk-up targets, gold, and it's north of Krakow Gold Mine, which everyone knows, and south of the town of Billawheeler. So we've got 7 walk-up drill targets already. And there's some exciting stuff.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So we're busy in exploration. It's taken time to get where we are, and I think it's time to make some money and get the larger market interested, because we've got mature projects.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good place to be.
Yeah.
A lot of other juniors aren't quite there. Some are obviously a little bit further ahead, but I think you're in a good spot, mate. Sounds like you're in a good spot.
Well, we've taken the rebuilding footy team approach. Like, we basically had no good players or no good projects, or projects that we didn't understand, and we've just persevered. We've looked, we've acquired, and now we've got a good team, or projects, and off we go.
Yeah, beautiful. So kind of like the Eagles on a rebuild.
Something like that. And
they're a little bit further behind than you guys at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think we're entering the premiership year.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. That's what you want. Get that flag. Aim for the flag.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, mate, thank you very much for coming and spending the time with us. It's been bloody awesome. I've learned a lot.
Thank you. And a great little opportunity.
Yeah, cool.
And you'd love to come back and...
Mate, love to have you back.
Audience.
Get you back in 12 or 18 months, or even sooner.
I suspect sooner.
Beautiful, mate.
Good one.
Well, thanks you very much for tuning in to another episode of The Gold Room. Awesome to have Terrain Minerals on. See you next time.